Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. Alright, hi guys, you're welcome back to my channel. Thank you for joining me today. Thank you for watching this video ahead. Alright, so today we're going to be talking about encryption of emails. And before I go into that, I would like us to please subscribe and turn on the post notification. Now, if you do not know how to do that, I'm just going to come here. I'll click on this video here. It's going to directly take me to my YouTube channel. So I'm just going to click on any other video here. This is me. Let's say one of the
You think I will allow your
contents
9 to 5 poverty?
now, if I want to subscribe to this, all I have to do is just click on the subscribe button and I click on the drop down here and click on all. So that means every time this person, Tales by SS Joy, every time she uploads a video, I will get it in my notification here that Tales by SS Joy uploaded a video. Now I want you to turn on the post notification so you don't miss any of my videos. So in the future, when you're looking for something, you would have already known that okay, this person Bits&Breach made a video about this, and I can always go there to watch the video. So turn on the post notification so you don't miss any of my videos. And please tell your friends about my channel. Currently I'm on 73 subscribers. I hope to reach 1,000 subscribers, hopefully before the end of this year. Thank you guys. I really appreciate your support. Thank you. So now we'll talk about encryption, and you might be wondering what encryption is. So encryption basically is turning messages from plain text to an unreadable format, right? So I'll just say encryption. Encryption definition, right? So yeah, it's converting information plain text to an unreadable format. Well, I actually got that ciphertext using algorithm and secret keys. And you might be wondering why we encrypt. We encrypt because of threat actors. Basically, imagine if there's a man in the middle attack, but the message is already encrypted. Once the message is encrypted, then the man in the middle attack getting the message can absolutely do nothing with the message because he doesn't have the key to decrypt the message, right? So it's basically converting the plain text to ciphertext. And in the past, you would see if you're into cybersecurity, yeah, you would know that there are two types of keys. There's the symmetric, there's the asymmetric keys. And then why we encrypt, okay, key aspect, the purpose, the process, the decryption, the types, right, it's said here. Symmetric is the same key, asymmetric is two private keys. Symmetric, which is the same key, is actually the decryption is actually faster compared to the asymmetric keys. Now, why it matters: data security, authentication, and integrity, compliance purpose, right? So encryption is part of a security control that needs to be implemented in your organization. If you're dealing with customers' information, like maybe banks or insurance company or any other company as a whole, you want to implement encryption in your organization. And there have been different ways over the years to encrypt. There have been different ways. There's the one where the A is representing letter D or representing letter E, and it has been like that in time past where some things have been encrypted. Now there's a difference between encryption and stenography. Now I do not want to go into that because it looks as if I'm going deep into cybersecurity, and this is just encryption of emails in Outlook. Now there are different ways to encrypt emails in Outlook. You have the Outlook encrypt button, you have the sensitivity label, you have the mail flow rules um, you can set up for your organization to encrypt emails. Now, first, I'm going to talk about the Outlook encrypt email. The Outlook encrypt button, once you have the Office 365 E3 in your organization or any of the license that supports encryption, you'll be able to encrypt emails right from your Outlook. Now, the sensitivity level, you could label emails that's basically for your organization as confidential, highly confidential, or internal only. While for the mail flow rules, admins will automatically encrypt your emails if they contain sensitive information, or probably if they're sent externally, or if they match keywords, or they contain credit card numbers. Now, I've said it in time past, or I've shown us in time past how to use mail flow in our Exchange admin center, because this is usually configured in Exchange admin center. Now, you might be wondering, okay, what do I need? What is my step one? What do I need to ensure that I can encrypt, right? So you need licenses to encrypt. You need either the Microsoft 365 E3, and I think you need the E5, yeah, E3, E5. If you have the business premium, if you have the Office 365 government, probably it's a government tenant, you have the G3, G5, or you have an education tenant, maybe that would be A3, A5 to encrypt emails. Now, if you have a lower license, maybe you have the business standard or the business basic or exchange plan on, you could add an add-on and the add-on will be AIP. Now the AIP is what exactly enables you to encrypt. It's actually the AIP is the important thing that you see inside the E3, the E5, the A3, the A5, and all. Right? So before you encrypt, activate the Azure Right Management. Now supposedly it's supposed to be in the Compliance Admin Center, but sometimes that I really can't find it there in the Compliance Admin Center. But let's check. Now I'm going to go back to my Admin Center here, click on Show All, and I'll go to my Microsoft Purview. By now, we should all know that Microsoft Purview and Microsoft Compliance Admin Center is the same thing, right? So it's all done while this is running. So what we want to enable here is to activate the Azure Right Management. This is a very important piece in encryption of email. So I'm just going to go to Settings. I'm going to go to Information Protection. That's the AIP, Azure Information Protection. Let's wait for it while it loads. You're supposed to see right management and all that. Now, when you turn this co-authoring on, it will enable sensitivity levels for files in OneDrive and SharePoint if it is not enabled. And the information scanner is used to discover, classify, and protect files stored in network shares and on-prem SharePoint documentary. So basically, I just like enabling this from using PowerShell. So now I'm going to open my PowerShell. I'm going to run as an administrator. Alright, so for some reason that stopped recording, but you're here. So what I want to do is run the Connect Exchange Online on my Windows PowerShell just to check if the IRM configuration, that's the AIP, is on, right? Alright, so now what we're supposed to do, or what I'm going to do, is connect to Exchange Online. I do not know, this might be your first time of connecting, so you have to install the module first, the Exchange Online module. You have to install it, you have to do some kind of thing before you're going to be able to connect to Exchange Online. I'm sure I've done that in my previous video. If you like to watch my previous video, probably I'll drop the documentation on how to connect to Exchange Online again in the comment section. So you find it pinned in the comment section. So I'm just going to click on enter, and I'll wait for this to prompt me to connect. And I'm going to click on me, myself, which is the admin. Note that it's only the admin that can run this. If you're not the admin, then you won't be able to run this because I connected to the Exchange Online as an administrator, right? So basically, it's the admin that can enable the encryption for you on your tenants. So the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to get IRM configuration. And enter. So I'm going to look for the Azure RMS licensing enabled. So right now, it tells me the Azure RMS Azure RMS licensing enabled is false, right? So I do not want that to be false. I want that to be enabled. So what I'm just going to do is I'm going to set. I'm sure we should know how to do this. When you want to turn on something, the idea is to use set IRM configuration. Sorry about that. Then mention the name, specify the name, which is Azure R caps M and caps S. Then licensing ICENSING enabled. And then the next thing we're just going to do is the $ and true, and then enter. And then to check if this says it runs successfully because it didn't give us an error, but to verify that, I'm just going to get the IRM configuration again, and that should say true. Now can we see it says true here? The first time it said false. So once we're done with these, I will just test from here. I will test to send I'll test the RMS configuration I just did from here. Now, sometimes you might have to wait for a few seconds before it come on, but I'll just go ahead and test from here. And if it goes, that means it's passed. The RMS templates are available, but if it fails, that means the encryption service is still not active. Right, so I'm just gonna do test. Okay, test. So I'm gonna put in IRM configuration. IRM configuration. Spell that well. Then the sender. My sender will be me, which is Timmy. That's treasures.org.ng. So let's verify that we're testing the ARM configuration for this sender, and I'm going to click on enter. And it tells me that acquiring RMS template fails to acquire RMS. So this failure may cause feature such as transport protection rules, IRM in OA and IRM in EAS, which is to import the RMS trusted publishing domain. So I'm just going to do import RMS. Scratch that. Space. That's online. The domain is RMS. Online. Okay. So this failed to run. Let's just wait for the synchronization. Propagation time. So I'm trying to install the Azure Information Protection Module, the service. Let's see. So that is supposed to run with that, but then these things don't go the way it's meant to. So let me try and install the AIP service. And hey, which is used to hold. Since that is here, I'll just connect instead of the get AIP service. I'll just do connect, just like we connected to Exchange Online. Let's see. So connect to AIP service. I'm going to click on my name. Hopefully that connects successfully. Okay, and then we're going to do the get AIP service. It's disabled, so this is supposed to be enabled. Remember I said this is supposed to be enabled. So if it falls, we're just going to do enable. I just don't want to type again. It's too lazy to do that. So enable ARP service. The Azure information has been successfully enabled Viola. So that's what we want. We're going to do get again, which you see enabled. Alright, so let me see if I can test my configuration again. It still says fail. What I've been doing, and it keep giving me an error. So what I'm just going to do now is I'm going to set the AIP service onboarding control policy. I'm going to set that, and I'll say it should use the RMS user license, right? So I'm just going to do that. Set. Since I keep getting testing failed and it's taking so much time, I noticed that even after like 10 minutes, I'm still getting the error. Like I can't see a place to, I can't see the encryption of emails. I can't see that. So I'm just going to do this control policy. and I'm gonna put use RMS user license, and I'll change this to true. I have to click enter. And it gives me a warning: the tenant user will be updated by this policy, and I say yes to all. And that one. Now, if you note, you will note that I actually have done it before. I've done it before, and then I tested and it worked. But for the purpose, I wasn't doing that in the video. So for the purpose of that, for the purpose of this video, I just do it again, and I'm going to go ahead and test the sender. And you see that it says passed, right? So I'm going to go back to my Outlook. I'm going to go to Timmy's Outlook, Timmy, and it keeps saying fail, acquiring RMS template, fail to acquire RMS template. This failure because features such as transport protection rules, IRM in O1, IRM in EAS, to not work. And I said sometimes this might fail, but when you give it a few minutes and you realize that it keeps failing, then you know that there's an issue. So what I did was to get the AIP service template, and once we got the template, you could see that this was the template I got, the confidential, the highly confidential. Now in the past, when you come to the encryption in the message or emails, you see that everything is grayed out and just ticked no permission set rather. Okay, so once we did that, we got the AIP service template. We know that okay, we should be able to get the confidential and the highly confidential. I checked the IRM configuration again, just like I've done before, and this is set to be true, which is fine. This is set to be true, which is fine. This is set to be true, which is fine. Now this set to be true was what allowed the licensing to be enabled for that user. Now the next thing we did was to set the AIP service onboarding control policy, and use the RMS user license and set it to true. Remember that the error we got here was acquiring the RMS template, and it was giving us fail to acquire the RMS template. So now we set the AIP service, which we have connected to onboarding control policy, and use the RMS user license. And once that is set to true, it asks you to confirm. Once that is set to that, we tested the IRM configuration and it passed, right? It passed. So this means when I come to my, I'm just going to click on my name here, I come to my licenses and apps, I come here, you'll see that the information protection, which usually is supposed to say that it's supposed to be organization level, this app is assigned at the organization level and can't be assigned per user, but now I can enable it for myself here due to the changes I have made in the PowerShell, right? And yeah. Now, although I could see all these, I could see the confidential, the all employees, the donor forward, encrypt, and all that. And I'm going to send to an external person in my organization. Let's see. So it's email accounts. And I'm going to encrypt the email. Click on encrypt and I'll send. So I'm going to go to my Gmail. See, I need 7. Come back here, you'll see sent items. Yeah, it's correct. I'm just going to refresh this. Hopefully I've not blocked. So you went to spam. And it's a when I sent you a protected message. Now, so can you see that? The person cannot read this. Can you see? You can't see anything. So the thing is, using encryption in the Outlook messages might not work because it is not always full IRM protection unless your tenant policy are set. So Outlook may just allow the forwarding or decryption in the same organization. So you might just fall back to the plain transport protection. So unless you use probably the Microsoft Purview or the SMIME encryption, that's the certificate-based encryption, or use the policy-based, which is Microsoft Purview. And I'm going to be doing that in the part 2 of this video. I'm going to be using Microsoft Purview for the message encryption. That's the applying sensitivity label and all that. So I will just go ahead and click on read this message. So I said sign in with a one-time code. I'm going to now I said we sent a one-time code. Please check your email, enter the one-time code, and the one-time code will expire in 15 minutes. Okay, I'm going to go back to my email. I'm going to refresh this. Okay, I didn't get the one-time code. Just if it's not spam, so move to the correct place. So why it's tagging that as spam is the way the message was sent. So since I didn't get a one-time code, I'm just gonna come back here. I say get another one-time code. It says the new one has been successfully sent. I'm gonna come here and refresh. Okay, so the new one finally came. I'm just gonna copy this and I'll come back here and paste it and click on continue. So for some reason they can't display my message. I'll just go back to the message again. I'll click on this, I'll click on read the message. Let me see if I can sign in. Sign in means I have to sign in with my Microsoft account. So let's try it again. Another one-time code. Okay, so the message finally came. It said just to encrypt. Remember, that's the only thing I said. I said just to encrypt, finish. So sometimes when you set that up, it might not work in the same tenant, only if you enable the SMIME, that's the certificate-based encryption, or you enable the what's it called, the policy based from the Microsoft Purview, Microsoft Compliance Admin Center. So if the recipient is inside the organization, just like how we did for me sending from treasures.org, Temi at treasures.org to Ben at treasures.org, it treated it as, you may see it normally, it treated it as a normal message. I could even forward the message. The recipient is in the same tenant and all that. So let's see if I can forward this. Just forward this to, let me see, Ben treasures.org.ng. And I'll just click on send. And I'll come to Ben. That does not enter. Okay, now that finally entered. Now it still tells Ben that, okay, yeah, it sent it to Ben. It says just to encrypt. Yeah, it says just to encrypt. Now that would work just because I did not mark that it shouldn't forward this email. Now I could do, let's do another test. I really wish I don't have to type this over and over again. Okay, so it's here. Hello. Do not forward. I come to my message here. I click on the encrypt downtime and I said do not forward. Right? And I send it. Come to my Gmail here. I'm gonna refresh this. I'm gonna check my spam. Oh, it's right here. And you see that it's also encrypted, right? Now let's see if she can forward the email. So sign in with a one-time passcode, just like we've done in the past. I'm gonna come here. It says me another code. I'm gonna copy this and I'm gonna paste it here and click on continue. Now it says do not forward. That means I cannot forward this. Now I could decide that I want to forward it, but I don't even have the option to forward just because I have set it from this place, right? So guys, I think here comes to the end of our encryption video, and probably my next video I'm just going to be doing the encryption from the policy base. I would not be able to do the SMIME because this is not a personal PC. Let's see. Okay, yeah, sure. I'll be able to do the SMIME probably in another video, not in this video. Now this is just for the normal encryption without labeling policy. I remember what I said. Now without the labeling policy or without the policy-based encryption, you could send emails from within the same organization and it might not be encrypted. Yeah, or if you're sending from an organization to an external organization, from an organization or from your own organization to an external organization, the policy is going to work, it's going to take place. Remember that there are different policies you might attach on the email. If you want it to encrypt, right? If you want it to be confidential. Okay, now let's try confidential. And I'm going to send it to Ben. Hello. Hi Ben. Send it to Ben. So let's see how confidential it's going to go, if it's going to come encrypted. So let's see. So it just said confidential all employees, so it just gave it the name confidential all employees. It still did not encrypt it. So remember that when you're sending an email, remember that there are different options. Probably you want to do confidential, so the employee knows that this is a confidential message, or the highly confidential, so the employee knows how to take care of this message or how to secure this message so it doesn't go out of the organization. That's if it is in the organization. Now outside the organization, you're sending an email to someone outside the organization, you put the encrypt, you put the do not forward. It's going to treat that message as an encrypted email, just like we see with this person here. All the emails that was coming in, even the do not forward email, is encrypted. Now the person could not forward the email. Can you see the forward option was not there? But for the first one, the forward option was there. So you might want to say, okay, I want to send emails to this person, but I don't want them to be able to forward it, and I want it to be encrypted. You can use the do not forward emails. So guys, thank you for watching. I hope I'll be dropping the partial commands I use, and if you do not know how to connect to Exchange Online Policy, remember that's the first thing we did. If you do not know how to do that, I'm also going to be dropping that command in the comment section. So thank you guys for watching. I hope you enjoyed watching this video, even though it was a little bit complicated, but I believe you enjoyed watching this video. And kindly subscribe, just like I showed you. Turn on the post notification so you would know whenever I drop a video on this channel. Thank you guys for watching. If you have any comments, please drop it in the comment section. I'll be glad to see your comments, and please click on the like and support this video. Share to your friends and tell them about this channel so they can also subscribe. Thank you guys for watching. I'll see you in my next video. Bye.